We are back. I'm back.
Welcome.
You were here last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Cheated on me with Scott Schwant.
Oh,
But, you know,
online.
I heard y'all had a lot of fun.
It was so fun.
I was-
I mean, not that you weren't here, but it was fun.
Yeah. I was driving to Houston, and I had fun. So, but I'm glad that Scott was willing to jump in and have
He
some
did.
good time. That just shows how down to earth he is. Well, it's June 14th,
Yes.
and it is Flag Day.
Yeah. And I'm Leah,
Oh, yeah.
and this is,
And that's Leah.
and you're Todd, and
I'm
welcome
Todd.
to the Go Show.
Welcome to the Go Show. Yeah.
Yes, please like and subscribe and share with your friends and hit the notification bell to get notified when we go live.
Wow. You said that like a pro.
I'm trying to
Like-
memorize it. I
like
have
that was
not
like-
memorized it yet, but
Joe
I'm trying.
Rogan or somebody. That was awesome. Good job.
Okay.
Well, something about today, it is Flag Day, and June 14th every year is Flag Day, and that's some really cool. You'll see flags everywhere, which is great. It feels like summer, and so that's awesome. We're proud of our flag and what it stands for.
Yes.
So take a moment today to kind of ponder that. I mean, of course, people tend to get around things like that. They have pool parties and they have refreshments and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
but really every once in a while it's good to stop and say, man, that flag represents a lot of people sacrificing a lot of things to make sure we have this opportunity to laugh and do our work and love our families and live in a free country. So that's awesome. So we were talking about what to do today on the show, and we were reminded that today's a really big day in the life of RE/MAX, MBRE Group LLC, RE/MAX River Cities, RE/MAX Go. We are growing,
We are growing.
and our amazing entrepreneurial, creative, motivated, smart broker and boss, Scott Schwant, is buying another office.
Yeah.
And we haven't really been able to talk about it on this show because it hadn't happened yet. It's just like anything else. You got to make sure it's really going to happen.
Right.
And today it's happening.
Today is the day.
I mean, I've been to tons of closings, but this is a different kind of closing.
Yeah.
This is like
This is a brokerage closing.
brokerage closing. And so what you buy the brokerage, it comes with all the agents in the brokerage, all the building, all the things, the history and the branding. And it's been a really cool process to kind of sit on the sidelines and watch happen. And just reminds you how amazing he is to be able to work through all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not done yet.
No.
What do they say?
We're finalizing things.
The fat lady
today.
hadn't sang yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully today by about 2:00 this afternoon, it'll be
It'll be done.
signed and wrapped up, and he'll get
Signed,
the keys.
sealed, delivered. Yes. It's
So-
going to be great.
It's going to be great. And so, assuming it all happens the way it's supposed to happen, we can start talking about more about RE/MAX Associates in the North Central San Antonio area, and that's exciting.
Stone Oak. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
pretty
lot
close to
of-
Stone Oak.
Amazing agents there. We've gotten to tour it and I speak to some of those awesome agents. And so we are just super excited.
Yeah, it's been around for over 30 years, and in that part of the world, so a lot
Yeah.
of really cool history there. Some. You know what? My favorite thing I think about the agents we met from there. Some of the agents have actually been doing real estate almost as long as you've been alive. First of all, but there's also a lot of there's a culture there where they're really plugged into the state, national, local
Boards,
and politics and trade associations. So they get to, they're not afraid to get in there and struggle to sacrifice and to make decisions that will help the real estate industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And as a consumer and future agents to be able to do real estate easier and more productively. And so that's pretty awesome. That's neat. So we get to
Yes.
learn from them.
We're super excited about it.
Yes. Very excited to grow our family here at RE/MAX Go. Well, that got us thinking.
Yeah.
Got me thinking about closing day.
Yeah.
Closing day. That's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so
Right.
to speak. Right? You got to get through certain things to get to that day.
So much stuff
And
sometimes.
anybody, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's really hard. And if you're one of those that had a hard road and there was a lot going on and just you're fighting for your client, fighting for ethics and the right things, and you get to that you get to that day.
Yeah.
It's usually at a closing company, like a title company,
company.
right? And you meet there and you sign all the paperwork. Your client signs all the paperwork. The other client signs all the paperwork. Keys are given. Movers can start moving. It's a very
Once it funds.
yeah.
Yes.
Closing and funding.
Yes, closing and funding.
We should have called it funding day.
Funding day. Yes,
Because it's
that's
true.
the whole thing.
It is true. On our contracts, it says when is possession given, and that's upon closing and funding most of the time, unless there's a lease. But working in this business a long time, especially with new homes, I had I've seen situations where a moving truck was parked at the model, literally parked, and closing happened at like 5 p.m. and couldn't get keys till Monday.
So lesson learned, right? Don't close at 5 on a Friday.
It was crazy. So yeah, that's terrible. We're talking about the good part of closing.
Yes.
So closing, the assuming you're closing and funding. So it got me thinking about what we do on closing day. Like, and I'd like to know, Julie's watching. I'm sure there are a few other people watching. Like what is something that you always do on closing day? I had a friend. I still have a friend, and knew him like 15 years ago. And one day he came walking into my office, and he was wearing a tie and a white shirt tucked in with his nice shoes on,
dressed up,
and
dressed the part.
Yeah, and it was out of character for him. He usually would be wearing cargo shorts and tennis shoes, a t-shirt. And I said, "Whoa, what are you doing today?" And he said, "It's closing day." And it was just for him. It was like he wanted to honor that day. He wanted to make sure that was a big deal. He wanted his clients to know this is a big deal, and I'm showing up dressed to the nines for you because this is a big deal. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So, do you show up for your closings, or do you just bring a gift and walk in, or do you not show up at all?
I've heard it different ways.
What do you do?
I usually stay.
You stay? Okay.
Yeah, I show up and stay if I can. If I can't make it, there's times when it's impossible. It's just schedules.
Yeah.
But if possible, I go and I stay because I feel like it's my last opportunity to show them that I'm there for them. Now I have to be careful. Because I try to be funny or I try to talk too much and over-explain. And that, Michelle Schwan, our other broker, she taught me a long time ago that escrow officer knows their job really well. They're really good at their job. They do it every day, all day. Let them be a professional and let them do their thing.
Let them do their job.
Don't try to help them.
Yeah.
Now, every once in a while, if somebody has a question, I'll answer the question. But it's an exercise, a game for me to try to see how little I can talk and not ruin the moment, not make it take longer than it needs to take.
Right.
And it depends on the client too. You have clients that this is their first time and they're scared to death and they're like, "This is so big old stack of papers."
Yeah.
And then you have clients that have done it 12 times and they're just like,
right. So yeah, it depends on my client. So I will go, but sometimes I don't. But it just depends on the client.
Yeah, it depends on the relationship you build. I become friends with a lot of my clients. I think it's fun to go to lunch if possible.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times where we go celebrate after.
Yes.
And have lunch somewhere nearby. And what about pictures? Like, you see those pictures on Facebook with the key, the big key with the title company name on it, or I love my realtor, and it goes on social media. What do you think that's for?
Well, that's definitely for the agent marketing for sure. But I do it if my clients want to. I've had some clients say no. They just didn't want their families to know, and they wanted to share the news and have a big surprise. I've even had one client who was just so scared at the end and just thought that it would never go through, and they just didn't want to jinx anything. And I was like, "I'm handing you your keys. It's okay."
I get that.
But it just depends on the client. But I think we have some awesome agents on here in our brokerage and that are online watching right now. And I'm going to brag on Leanne, and Julie does this too. They write about their experience or the client's experience. So not necessarily a bragging moment for the agent, but more about the client and how they overcame what their hurdle was or struggle was that they had to rent for 9 years or whatever it is, and that they met Leanne, and then Leanne got, helped them with credit repair, even if they had to rent again, but that she helped them and then
stayed in touch with them.
And then she just really does a great job of explaining their story and not in like a bragging way
Right.
at all.
So
It's
Leanne's
just helping.
value proposition is to help and to
Yeah.
really care, right?
Mhm.
And that's what, when people refer her, they say, you want to work with Leanne because she will hold your hand, she'll care about you, right?
Yes.
Well, what's funny is, what's interesting to me, sorry, my arm hurts.
No, I'm like, what is happening right now?
Call 911.
Like, what's the matter?
So what's interesting is, and I'll ask you this in a form of a question,
Oh.
what is the goal of somebody who's showing pictures on social media of their clients closing? What's that goal?
Well, I think the goal is perception, and it is
That
to
they're
show, yes, that they're busy, to show that they are closing, not just posting houses,
Mhm.
because we do have agents that just post houses for the perception too, but this is an actual closing. You are super happy that it's your closing and that it's also your client's closing.
So my
And-
question would be, then doesn't that mean that Leanne's accomplishing that too?
No, she definitely is. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's two ways to do it.
So it's like she's getting the same result, which is I'm closing houses.
Yeah.
I'm busy, but she's adding a layer to it. If somebody takes the time to read the blurb that she puts, that, oh my gosh, she
Right.
cares. So it's
Yeah.
not just look at me, like you said earlier. It's look at what we accomplished together because we were a team.
I think both ways are right. It's just how you're doing your marketing, but also by putting it on Facebook, some people are like, I don't do that. And that's okay if you don't. That doesn't mean you're not the better agent because you don't. It's just that some people are more on social media. And I was just with another agent yesterday who came from car sales, and he was also talking about he puts everything on social media when the clients purchase a car,
Right.
so that it comes up in a year and he can celebrate that. And that's kind of like his CRM
Oh, that's the way he keeps track.
for his clients. And so it makes total sense because it comes up.
That's smart.
Yeah. And you have the picture and it's there.
Right.
You just have to remember
And
to
you
go
can
to your memories.
So does he like share it again?
Yeah, he
and
shares
go,
it again.
Happy 1 year anniversary on buying that awesome truck
Mhm.
or whatever.
Or look at what happened 9 years ago. You bought this vehicle and you couldn't get it. Same thing with homes. Like you thought you were never going to have a home and now you are. Now look, we bought 2 other rentals for you.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so use your tools. If you are posting on Facebook, make sure that you go into your Facebook and go to your memories section. It's on your bottom button on your phone, and post those memories. So
That's really awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, that's smart.
it's another way.
I know who you're talking about, and there's a reason why he's the number one
Car salesman.
salesman at his place of work.
Yeah,
That's
going to
awesome.
be an amazing agent too.
So yeah, we would love to hear any kind of tips or tricks on how to approach closing day.
Yeah.
Um,
What you do, I usually, if it's a new home, I wrap the door. I know we've talked about this, I think,
yeah,
before.
we had a show about closing gifts. and
Yeah, I do that to make it special. But I do take a gift, whether it be at closing or I go back to the client's house after we've closed when they're moving in and stuff. I've taken
Yeah.
pizza before, things like
I
that.
told that story. This is a good idea. A mortgage company that I used ordered pizza for my daughter's closing,
Mhm.
and he just casually asked them, "So when are you guys moving in?" And she was like, "Oh, tonight at like 7:00. We've got a U-Haul and da da da."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Have fun. Sorry I can't help you. Haha."
Right.
And then like at 8:00, 3
Pizza's
pizzas showed
delivered.
up.
Yeah.
Man.
That's
and,
the best.
And a note from him. And it was just super cool.
Love
Like
that.
how thoughtful. It was surprising and thoughtful.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about as you get to that point in your career where you're closing deals is have a standard, have a system.
Yeah.
It's one thing to think about stuff like that and to say, man, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. I have a goal to do that.
Hmm.
But like I like to say, like James Clear says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. So what is a system that you can put in place that will make sure? Could be adding to your calendar, like 5 days before closing, 7 days before closing. What is the list? Actually, you can create a week of closing list
Yes.
and have a list of a checklist of I have to make sure I go, if it's my listing, I have to go into MLS and close it out. If it's I need to make sure I get my post ready, create that. I need to make sure that I've set a time for them to close. There's all those things that we need to do as an agent.
Right.
To make sure they have everything they need to wire the money, to get the money wired, whatever. Part of that checklist is to buy that gift or to set that schedule for that day, ask them if they want to have lunch, all those things, because
Right.
you'll think about them after. If if you're like me, if you're scatterbrained like me, you'll be like, dude, that would have been cool,
Yeah.
but I didn't do it.
And just make sure that your list that you do it with each client. Because even if it's a lot, or if it's $1 million home, or if it's new home, just make sure that, because your clients might post that on social media and someone might see that you didn't do that with them, because I've had that happen before.
Ooh.
So just make sure that you are consistent and you have a list and you have it ready to go and you have that in place.
Don't let that discourage you, because I felt the spirit of discouragement come over me, because
Why?
if I haven't, because I've been doing this, years, and I have lots of clients that I'm friends with on Facebook that I didn't do that with. So if I go to lunch with one, if they were to, I can't control what they feel, but
Right.
if they were to say something like, why didn't you do that with me? Then I get to say, it's something that I heard about and I thought it was a great idea and I wanted to start doing it.
Yeah.
But I'll take you to lunch now.
Right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
I don't do, I just felt that mindset kind of go into a place of, oh, well, I better not do that, because, so that's just taking a negative reaction
Yeah.
to it. And I want you to not do that.
All positivity.
All positive.
All right.
Very
So
cool.
are we going to talk about what's happening? What's happening?
What?
So we did talk about Flag Day is today. So if you obviously or go downtown anywhere, you're going to see all the flags downtown. It's really a cool thing that they do. I love that the smaller cities, I guess, do that. I think San Antonio does it too.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe in pockets, like HOA.
Yeah.
Some HOAs will do it. Oh, there's actually there's some organizations like
Lions Club was out this morning.
Lions Club, and then there's
Rotary.
There's your
Santas.
VFW. The I'm missing the names, but
Not
there's
sure.
several orders of like former military and
Oh, yeah.
other civic organizations like that. And one of
Yes.
their little things they do is they'll have a bunch of miniature flags and they'll go put them in people's yards. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
can call them and say, hey, make sure you put it in my yard. And they'll come
Right.
and put it in your yard and then come take it out. It's like one of the things they fundraise for.
Yeah.
And so some HOAs, you'll see them all over the neighborhood, out front of neighborhoods. I love it. I think it's really cool.
Yes. So this weekend is also, today is also National Strawberry Shortcake Day. So y'all agents, get on up here to the office this afternoon. Jill Donovan is bringing strawberry shortcake for
Yep.
us.
If you're in New Braunfels or Seguin, get over here
Come on.
for some
Yeah.
free strawberry shortcake.
And then this weekend is Father's Day. So we want to give a shout out to all the dads.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day. We know y'all do amazing things and have so much on y'all, basically. So we just want to give y'all a shout out. So happy
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Thank you.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day to you too,
Thank you.
because you do a lot for your kids.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
And my mom or my wife used to send her mom a Happy Father's Day card, because her mom was a single mom
Yeah.
and she did a lot for them and by herself. So she was like doing the job of dad and mom.
Right.
And so I know it's Father's Day, whatever, but
Yeah.
I think that there's room for you to, if you know a single mom in your life,
Yeah.
Or if you were raised by a single mom, send them a quick Father's Day thank you and just
Shout out.
like, hey, you're doing both jobs.
Yeah.
Good job.
Love that. And mega open house. So it's not this weekend, but it is next weekend.
20.
So 22nd. So if you are hosting an open house with Remax Go, please let Tanya know so that we can add it to our open house inventory
Yeah, the 22nd, that's Saturday.
next Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, make sure you get it to Tanya. That's a key component. Just if you don't know what to get her, reach out to Leah or her. But it's basically a flyer, like you would do you go into KV Core, do your flyer for it, and then send that over, because Tanya's going to promote those as a group.
Yeah.
And so this thing has been gaining some traction every time we do it. A few more people jump in. I actually get to play this time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have a listing going live hopefully today, and so it's perfect timing to do an open house this weekend.
Perfect.
And so I'll be getting my stuff to Tanya as well.
Awesome. And also please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when we go live.
All right, let's finish up with a little "If I Knew Then, What I Know Now." It's something we started doing a few weeks ago. Julie actually said she enjoyed when we talk about
Real stories.
Yeah, real stories.
Yeah.
I love that. REAL, real stories.
Real stories.
Because we're not perfect, and we've all made mistakes. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was, we've talked about follow-up. And I think maybe one of the first times we did, if I knew then what I know now, maybe we talked about this, but like following up, remembering to put us or having a system to make sure I follow up with somebody.
Right.
If you find yourself in your career, in your real estate career, ever at a point where you don't have any leads coming or any closings coming, and you feel like your pipeline is very low or empty, then all you have to do is think 6 months ago, what was I doing?
True.
Because this is the kind of business that everything you do today, you get paid in the next 3 to 6 months.
Right.
And so relationships you have, conversations you have, all will pay off. By pay off, I mean close, fund, all that stuff months down the road, many times, right? So you want to have as many of those conversations as you can. So everybody you're going to meet today or talk to yesterday or tomorrow are people who are going to buy or sell a house, or nobody who's going to buy or sell a house.
Right.
Everybody you meet, everybody you talk to today knows somebody, is or knows somebody who's either going to, or knows somebody who knows somebody who's going to buy or sell a house this year.
Right.
And so if you're putting yourself in the position in those conversations where they know what you do and they know you love referrals and they trust you and like you, then make sure if ever real estate comes up that you circle back around. You get them on your CRM so that they're seeing, oh yeah, Todd's a realtor. Oh yeah, I can ask him a question about this. I've started having people ask you questions at church or at the grocery store, like, how's the real estate market? Or I heard I don't have to pay realtors anymore, or whatever. People were going to say things, and then you get to respond.
You get to educate them.
And once you respond, that's a relationship that you can then follow up on.
Right.
So I guess the point is, if I knew then what I know now, I would have a better system at following up with people that I have general conversations with.
Right.
Because even if only 5 more people a year bought or sold with me because I did a better job of following up, then let's say that's an average of $50,000 a year.
Right.
So I don't want to do that math.
Do you want to eat top ramen? Or do you want to eat steak? Even if you don't eat steak every night, you still want the option to eat it.
Right.
So you just got to work. You got to hustle. It's all about that. It's all about making connections. It's all about building your business as a realtor and treating it like a business as well. Can't go watch Bridgerton.
You're the first one to publicly say it. That's awesome.
I was going to throw it out there because they have been hating on it.
That has been the morning joke.
Because me and producer Karen have been watching Bridgerton.
So watching Bridgerton is the symbol of not working. Is basically what it is.
Well, it could be.
It used to be Price is Right. Scott would always say, if you're watching Price is Right, well,
So now it's Bridgerton.
Now it's Bridgerton.
But so we do have some other news.
What's
do you want to share about the new show? About the idea.
Okay.
The possibility of a new show.
There's a possibility that we're going to change.
It's happening.
That we're going to change the format of this show. So
like the whole thing. Yeah.
And we don't know if it's going to be this coming Friday because it could be 2 weeks. But here's why. We're going to go up a level. We're gonna continue.
Probably like 10 times level.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a show that is designed for the general public and for agents, but to get out of this room and go out into the world. And Leah and I are going to basically go on adventures, and we're going to video the adventures.
The adventures with Leah.
Go adventures.
The go adventures.
Go adventure. Yeah. So we're still brainstorming, but it takes a lot more work. I mean, we do research for this. We get together, we talk about what we're going to do, and then we trust ourselves to be able to have a nice, fun banter because we like each other and all that.
Yeah.
But it's going to require a lot more producer work.
I get to throw water in his face.
That's all she heard. All she heard when we were talking about the new ideas was, I get to throw water on Todd? Okay, sign me up. What time does it start? What time should I get there?
Drown in the river.
What time should I get there? So, and I also want to know, in a world of equality, why it's assumed that I will be the one going down the tube chute, getting water thrown on them, jumping off buildings.
He's going to.
As long as I get to eat all the barbecue.
For sure, yeah.
You can, neither of us drink, so we'll find somebody else to try beers.
Right.
Because it's the problems.
Yes.
Well, anyway, we're gonna try to have some fun and try to catch that on video and see if it'll be fun for you to watch. And so, anyway, hope you stay tuned, and we'll start announcing and marketing that.
Yes.
We could go to Houston too.
And San Antonio.
San
And
Antonio
Seguin.
and Seguin and do fun stuff. Cool.
All right,
Well,
guys.
we're not going to talk about Corey anymore. So
No.
no, I'm just joking.
Corey just walked in.
He walked in. Had to throw him out there, tag him on the show.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank y'all for hanging in there with us for closing day stuff.
The wave pool. Ooh.
Julie, yeah, Leah can get in the wave pool.
I can
That
get
sounds
in
fun.
the wave
She's
pool.
not scared of that.
Let's go,
You
Todd.
could go underwater and then come out of the water and you're in a different water.
Okay, that's probably not appropriate, but okay.
No, you just like come splashing up and then you like jump
Is this
into the wave.
mermaid or what?
You jump into the wave pool, then you jump out and you're in the Guadalupe River or something.
Okay, you're gonna try it first.
See, it always comes back to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all have a great day.
Yes. Have a good